All right, guys. So last time we talked about all of how endurance exercise is great for our body. 2 times ago, we talked about how it built a bigger, stronger heart that could pump more blood with every beat. It increased the blood capillaries, so the blood vessels that go to our muscle, mitochondrial mass of our muscle, fat oxidation enzymes of our muscle. So it did all these great things. And then last time we talked about whether you sprint or whether you do long, slow distance, those 30-second sprint intervals, those 2 to 4 minute high intensity intervals, or you did long, slow distance, you were going to be able to build endurance. You're going to be able to build all these things by activating AMP kinase with the high intensity work, or activating CAM kinase with the long, slow distance work. And all of that is happening in our muscles, and that adaptation is happening in the muscles. But one of the other things that happens when you do endurance exercise is that we actually functionally improve our brain. And you think about it, it makes a huge amount of sense because remember, evolutionarily, we evolved to be able to do this persistence hunting. And so as a persistence hunter, if you could do something within that exercise or some stimulus from that exercise was making it so you could learn or remember better, you would know or you would remember better where to hunt, better where to find food, and better increase your opportunity to be successful as a hunter again. And so it really makes evolutionary sense that there is this idea of when we exercise, something good happens so that our brain works better. And a lot of us now who are sitting at home doing very little are going through the reverse process, where when we're totally inert and we're sit on our butt all the time, all that happens is not only are we physically getting worse, we're mentally not as sharp either. All right, so now why is that? Well, there's huge mental benefits of exercise. There's improving learning and memory. That's been clinically shown time and time again. I'll show you evidence today of the ability to grow and regenerate brain cells. And then there's this idea of that you can prevent depression. And really, exercise is actually as good as medication, antidepressant medication, together with talk therapy. So exercise is as good as antidepressants and talk therapy together. It's better than either one separately. So really, exercise is one of the best interventions we have to prevent depression. And when you think about it, it makes a huge amount of sense. Everything that we've talked about with exercise was about this thing called the overload principle. We say that adaptation occurs as a result of systematic and progressive exercise of a specific frequency, intensity, and duration. Progression is the key word in there for anti-depression. Because when you talk to somebody who's depressed, they say, oh, no matter what I do, nothing changes. Everything's the same. I'm getting worse. Nothing's getting better. But then if you were to say, go into the gym and lift a weight, and then the next time in the gym, you can lift a heavier weight, you already see that you've progressed. It goes against this brain image where you say, oh, I can't get any better. Nothing I do is making any difference. I just got better. Now, if you're trying to fight depression, oh, look, I'm faster today. I ran longer today. I went further today. All of these things are completely antidepressive. All right? So let's first talk about intelligence and strength. And so this is a study that we're going to talk a lot about in these lectures. And really, it's a study that's really beautiful because what it does is it takes 1.2 million 18-year-olds. And these are 18-year-olds from Sweden. And it's Swedish 18-year-olds at a time when the social fabric of Sweden was very, very uniform. So they all had the same educational opportunities. They all had the same socioeconomic opportunities. They all had the same backgrounds. And everything was kind of uniform. So that when you measure intelligence, you actually got a good reading of intelligence. And so what they did, and this is again in military recruits, and everybody was being tested, every 18-year-old male was being tested, they could then separate you into the top three, or into tiers of intelligence and tiers of strength. So you're either in third, fourth, fifth level of intelligence, or it's the same thing. This is the people who are the weakest. This is the people who are the strongest. Okay? So what you can see is that with strength, as you increase your strength, there's an increase in intelligence that goes with an increase in strength up into a point, and that plateaus around this period where you're in the middle third of the population. The middle third of the population as far as strength goes, is as intelligent as the top third of the population. But it does seem like there is an effect where if you're in the lowest third of the population in strength, you're also in the lowest third of the population for intelligence. So that's interesting, but it just means that it goes up and then plateaus. It's not like a linear relationship. And so what we say is that it's not really, strength exercise has some positive effect on the brain, because again, it's this idea of sound body, sound mind. So if you have a sound body, it does help you, so that if you don't have a sound body, that is associated with issues with learning and memory as well. All right, but it's not as linear a relationship as you would expect if it was driving, if your strength was driving an increase in intelligence, learning, and memory.